Hey there, thanks for tuning in again. This is Samuel back with another video. So let's talk vaccines. A vaccine is a substance or a solution containing a very weakened pathogen or a part of a pathogen that is administered or introduced into the body of a person, either orally or by injecting into the muscle tissues or into the subcutaneous layer just underneath the skin. Sometimes a vaccine can also be administered by a nasal spray application, as in the case of the influenza vaccine, which we also call as a flu mist. COVID-19 vaccine is administered by intramuscular injection. So anyway, this is all done to mediate an immune response, and what that means is that we want our immunity, our defense mechanism, to be able to produce and make antibodies as well as memory cells so that our immunity can remember when we encounter a specific pathogen in the future again. A vaccine is an artificial, active, acquired type of immunity. Artificial because obviously it is man-made and prepared in a research facility. Active because our immunity and your immunity is playing an active role in making those antibodies as well as memory cells through the proliferation of T cells and B cells, which are also the cells of the immune system that are made in the thymus gland as well as in the bone marrow respectively. So you are the sole producer of those antibodies. Those antibodies are not being passed on to you from a different organism. They are not being donated to you from another human being, let's say for example, but you alone are the sole maker of those antibodies. So you are the manufacturer of those antibodies and hence active. Acquired because this is something new that is introduced into your body. You are acquiring this pathogen, in this case a vaccine, for the first time in your life, and your immunity is currently reacting to this by making antibodies. So hence a vaccine is an acquired type of immunity and it is not innate. So it is not something that you are born with. Like I've said before in one of my previous videos, a vaccine is an added layer of protection, much like how a life jacket could prevent us from drowning if we are learning how to swim, for example. In a similar sense, a vaccine provides our immunity with new information so that it can learn how to better protect us from a particular pathogen. A vaccine not only gives you protection alone, but more importantly, the people around you. This is something that immunologists refer to as a herd immunity. So definitely safety in numbers. For example, if in a household there are 5 people and one of those people cannot get vaccinated due to several health conditions or is severely allergic to any type of vaccine, but if however 4 of those people are vaccinated, then there is a less likely chance that that susceptible person would contract a pathogen or get a disease. So by getting vaccinated, we are not only protecting ourselves but also the people around us. Side effects are normal when we get a vaccine because obviously it is something new that is introduced into our system. When this happens, our innate immunity first responds by sending white blood cells to that particular site where the vaccine was administered to bring about inflammation, which results in various side effects such as chills, fevers, headaches, fatigue, and so on. This rapid response of our innate immunity somewhat diminishes with age, and that is why some adults experience lesser side effects or no side effects at all. That being said though, everyone reacts differently. When a foreign pathogen invades our bodies, the innate immunity will try to neutralize it. Then the acquired immunity will take over and create antibodies that will react with specific antigens of a particular pathogen. That is the basic objective of a vaccine. It works to elicit a response from our acquired immunity to create antibodies for a particular pathogen. Based on what state or what part of a pathogen that is used in a vaccine, there are different ways or methods that are used in making a vaccine, and in this way we will have different types of vaccines. For example, the anthrax and influenza vaccines uses an inactivated pathogen after killing it with either heat or chemicals or radiation. These inactivated pathogens will not cause diseases in us but would still mediate an immune response. Some vaccines, like the typhoid vaccine, uses a live attenuated or a weakened pathogen, in this case the weakened Salmonella typhi bacterium. This weakened bacterium again will not cause any diseases but will still stimulate the production of antibodies via our immune system. The bacterium is attenuated or weakened by culturing or growing it in a specific medium or host for many generations until it no longer knows how to replicate or multiply in humans. Some vaccines contain in them attenuated or weakened toxins that are secreted by certain pathogens, and these type of vaccines are referred to as toxoid vaccines. For example, the vaccines for tetanus and diphtheria. More recently though, the vaccines are made using the genetic materials of the pathogen. These are referred to as nucleic acid vaccines that either use the DNA or the RNA of the pathogen. In some instances, only a short sequence of the DNA or RNA is used to create a vaccine, as we see now with these COVID-19 vaccines. This method involves taking a short sequence of the viral RNA that codes for the spike protein and only the spike protein of the coronavirus. The sequence will then be converted into a messenger RNA using various biotechniques. That messenger RNA will then be introduced into our cells using another type of safe and harmless virus that we refer to as a vector. This particular viral vector will not cause any diseases in us, nor will it alter or affect our DNA in any way. At the same time, this viral vector will not also replicate or multiply in our cells. Once the mRNA is in our cells, the cellular machinery will then use that information on that particular mRNA to synthesize the spike proteins and only the spike proteins of the coronavirus. And this is when our immunity cells will do their work and synthesize specific antibodies that will target and react only with those spike proteins. So again, in the future, if you have become vaccinated and somehow you do contract the coronavirus again, now your immune system will be well equipped to deal with it. So that is the what, the why, and the how of vaccines. Thank you.